Everyone says that they want A players, but almost no one knows what they actually look like. Hey, I'm Ryan, and I help owners and leadership teams grow and build businesses they actually love running. And if you're in the leadership, growth, building a better company, all that stuff, I'd appreciate a follow. But here's something that's not super fun to say, but most companies don't have an A player problem. They have an A player identification problem. Because if I were to ask anyone on the leadership team, like, hey, how many A players do you have? The answer is almost always like, well, most of them. And no, probably not. If everyone's an A player, then guess what? No one is an A player. So let's start with the C players. Let's get really clear on what these people are. C players tend to be people who lower the standard. They tend to make excuses. They tend to be really good at pointing fingers and casting blame. The people who always have a reason why things aren't their fault, those are C players. They need constant follow up. They need constant reminders. They need constant rescuing. And over time, they can create way more work than they actually remove. And if you have enough C players, eventually your best people, that they leave. They can't put up with that sort of behavior. Now, B players, honestly, most companies are built with a lot of B players, and that's totally okay because B players are solid. They're dependable, they're reliable. And if you tell them what good looks like, they're going to go and do that thing. But while they're good at moving the ball forward every day, you still have to put in the time to develop them. They're not going to do that on their own, right? So you've got to give them training, you got to give them systems, you got to give them clarity. And a surprising number of B players can look and become A players when they're surrounded and put in the right environment. But A players are cut different because this is where these are people who aren't just talented, right? They're not just someone who's like really good at what they do. There's someone who they raise the standard for everyone around them. They don't just solve problems. They solve problems that weren't even assigned to them. They don't wait for someone to give them ownership. They take the ownership. They don't bring excuses. They bring solutions. And here's why this matters. If you are a CEO or if you're a leadership team who feels like everything just always depends on you, there's a really decent chance that you're surrounded by too many B and C players because when you have A players, you find yourself with more leverage. But B players tend to be people who maintain, keep things stable. C players consume and they suck. And if you're trying to scale a business, that's a really good distinction. You got to get really good at recognizing because one of the fastest ways to hit that growth ceiling is thinking you've got a roster surrounding yourself of A players and you actually don't.